first put in the water to prevent viral diseases? No. Things that you would put in water that would probably affect the health of the birds. So not going that route. As far as vaccination, at this point, for avian influenza, we don't vaccinate in this country. One of the reasons is because it masks infection and it makes it a lot harder to detect. And you get positive birds that aren't truly infected. It just causes a lot of problems. So if we don't have it in our domestic poultry, we're not going to vaccinate. There are vaccines for Newcastle disease, and they are used commercially some, but for the most part, it doesn't make sense in our backyard flocks. And again, it kind of, I don't see anything that I would recommend wholesale that you vaccinate for, like we do with our cattle, for instance. There are things that you should be using on a regular basis. If you get an outbreak of fowl pox, however, in your chickens, vaccine's the only way you're going to get around that. So then you do recommend it. And there are some other vaccines out there, but for the most part, especially where you're not talking about a commercial situations, they do, because they're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars that are lost if they break with one of these diseases. But it really probably doesn't make a lot of sense in poultry unless you're dealing with a specific problem, and then we can recommend it. Yes.
Have there been any outbreaks of avian influenza in Travis County?
Travis County, I don't know of any.
I mean, I've kind of thought that avian influenza is sort of low on my list of things to worry about, but now I'm thinking maybe I should worry about it more. Is that something that you come across in this?
Well, the only thing
backyard flocks here very often?
Okay, the things that we have come across in Texas in the last few years, we have run across some instances of low path avian influenza. Not anything that's killing chickens or making them sick. And I can tell you, one of the places that we've dealt with it, it's been, there is, I don't know if you're aware, there is a system in a number of states, including Texas, where live birds are marketed for slaughter. You go, you pick out the chicken you want, they slaughter it, you take it home. And so they have birds coming in and out of these places all the time, and we have had some outbreaks there that we've had to deal with. For the most part, though, birds haven't been sick, but we have, a lot of times what we do is you put it on a quarantine, but you put a hole on it. Okay, you're not going to buy any more chickens, and we're going to kind of keep restrictions on while you market what you've got. Then when the pens are empty, we clean and disinfect them. And that's normally what we've done in most instances. There was a atypical high path, oh boy, back in, I think around 2005, down in the Gonzales area, and wasn't really making the chickens very sick, but when the tests they did on it, including injecting the eggs, the live embryos, they did have quite a few deaths there, and also when they looked at the DNA, the sequence matched up with some of the high path outbreaks that they'd had other places. So they treated it as high path, even though it really didn't look like it looking at the chickens. It's not very high risk, but the consequences, because of people, you know what's happened around the world. Unfortunately, we have not had in the United States. I was in Mexico before I came here, and one of the things that we were charged with is basically having plans and everything in place. What are you going to do when it happens? Everybody was sure that it would, and we put a lot of resources into it that maybe we didn't need to, but the consequences are really severe if it were to turn into a high path, especially a form that could affect people. And so it's more, it doesn't cost that much to take steps to hopefully prevent it. But I wouldn't go to extremes worrying about that disease, because there's a lot of others that are more likely. Yes?
My question, what kind of diseases would possibly be transferred by dogs and pigeons, or even squirrels? Those are the two sorts of animals you deal with.
Well, squirrels probably aren't too likely to transmit anything that I would be worried about. Doves and pigeons, pigeons I know can carry Newcastle disease. And I'm sure they probably, even though they're not high on the list for avian influenza, I'm sure they can transmit that as well. Just trying to do the best you can to keep separation is a good idea. If they're ones that just remain, we've got where I live, we don't have any chickens, but we've got doves everywhere. But they seem to stay right around there. I don't think they migrate too far. But if I had neighbors that had chickens, yeah, they'd be there, and they'd probably be back here, because spilled feed or anything, boy, they're going to be on it. If you can cover overhead as well to keep them from flying into your places where you have chickens, I think that's best. But I understand if you can't.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
It's bigger.
Yeah, I understand. Yes.
Do any of these diseases stay in the ground? I mean, is it ground infected as well?
Well, most of them not for very long. Highly contagious ones like Newcastle or avian influenza, they don't stick around very long. If you clean the ground up and let it expose to this wonderful heat and sunlight we have here, it probably wouldn't last more than a few weeks, as long as it got a chance to dry out. Chicken pox, however, that may be there forever. This pox virus shedding those scabs, it's resistant, and you almost need to, like I said, you can vaccinate for it. It's kind of a time-consuming thing, but once you get pretty good at it, you can do it really fast. But you're almost better off if you can't move in your coop, because it's not going anywhere for at least probably for several years.
I just wanted to share this with other members. One time we had the chicken whisperer from Atlanta, I don't remember his name, Andy, was talking to us via Skype. And this has really helped me a lot. I keep a bottle of apple cider vinegar out on my water. And I don't measure anything, I just pour it in there. And it keeps the algae down during the summer.
Oh,
And it has cleared up the green and watery food.
I imagine it must be the acidity, which is, it's it's not a very strong acid, but I had not heard that one. I know that, the copper will somewhat. We used to always put, an old piece of no longer used copper wire, we'd coil it up and stick it in the bottom of a watering thing and try to keep it down, and it helped. But that's a new one on me.
Well, he shared that with us, because I think that was a question I had to ask.
Yeah.
Why do we keep that down?
And that's, of a thing you can use, no toxicity whatsoever, so that's a great. Yes?
I've seen a lot of these steam cleaning tools for the household, the last couple of years. Do you have any idea if they have any impact at all on bacteria?
Oh, they definitely would. If it's a good one and it works. If it gets the temperature up, if it's steam that's coming out of there, yeah, that'll kill just about everything. It might even kill pox viruses.
So, like if I have a wooden broody coop, maybe if I take the steam out, steam, all the cracks and everything.
No, I think that would help. If indeed you're getting it in there.
Yeah. Because I've noticed that, people will spray like a cloud of fruit flies and it doesn't seem to phase them at all. And I just wonder,
Well, and it's not getting hot. No.
Yeah.
It must be that it's such a small amount of steam, when it gets in the air, it cools too quickly.
Yeah.
Because steam, if you've ever accidentally exposed yourself to it, you know what it can do. And so if you're getting it into the cracks and crevices, it's going to work well.
Quick test on that is pull the steamer out and see when it's burning hot. 6 inches it's cold. Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
I know the avian influenza and zombie Newcastle disease are a couple of horrible diseases for the state. And one that you hadn't mentioned was laryngotracheitis.
Oh, yeah.
And you might tell, what some of the symptoms of that
Yeah, well,
are.
basically, that's another one. And one of the reasons that we're concerned about, because it's a respiratory disease, and you can't always be sure just from sick chickens that that's what it is. But it's a virus, and they're usually the thing you see most of in a chicken house situation. You can stand outside and you'll hear them coughing. And it's really a dramatic disease when we look at one on post-mortem.